Welcome to Trip Advice Live. How's it going out there? And hello to you who's watching this after the fact. It's great to be here. It's great to be back on a Tuesday night. A few announcements. Gonna be going back to Chicago, moving back there in a month from now. So what does that mean? What does that mean for you? I'm actually gonna have a whole new studio and going to be taking TripAdvisor live and reformatting everything to be better. So we're going to have in-person guests. We're going to have people who are going to fly in and come be on the show, or people who are local be on the show. We'll have lots of different types of guests, interviews, fun conversations. It's going to be great. So keep tuning into these lives where you can see the changes. And of course, for now, we can be here and continue to give you great information and great help until we do get to that point. So very excited about that. So stick around. Now, today we're talking about the mistakes, 5 mistakes that I see 23. And if I'm being honest, which of course I always like to be honest with you, I'm seeing that these mistakes are being made and have been made probably for the past 5 or 6 years. If we wanted to push it, we can even go to 10. So really for the past 10 years, I've been seeing this. Unfortunately, I hate to be cynical here, but we're going to continue to see these issues. And I want to be able to help guys as much as I can combat these issues. They are affecting your life, your happiness, your fulfillment. They're, of course, affecting your dating life negatively, obviously. They're mistakes. And so I want to be able to give you an awareness of what these mistakes are. I guarantee you're at least doing one of these. And we're also going to be giving you some ways to fix it, to make sure that you're not making these mistakes anymore. What's up, Danny? So we're going to get into it. And we're going to give you some help. So let's dive in and not waste a minute more. Mistake number 1. Too much prawn. And if you know what I'm saying, you can rearrange the letters of prawn. In front of your computer, there you sit, watching a screen, seeing a woman who you will probably never see in real life, and you are just fapping away. What's up, Cole? So, here's the thing, man. There's a lot of interesting information out there when it comes to no fap. I've heard people who've been on incredible streaks, months to years of never fapping. And I listen, more power to them for not fapping, for not watching any prawn. I give you all of the, all of the honor I could give you for getting to that point. However, for most of us, that's not realistic. I know it's not. I know that you are still going to be tempted to the degree that you will give in. And that doing something to the extreme like that, where you're absolutely not fapping at all, watching any prawn at all, it's not realistic. It's not. In 2023, it's not realistic to never, ever do that. Okay? So I'm going to give you some solutions and some ideas on what to do. But first, let's talk about why is this a problem? So the reason, that's right, no corn. We can say no prawn. We can say no corn. You guys get it. The reason why this is a problem is, well, there's a lot of reasons. One, it's completely changing the reward circuitry in your brain. What happens when you are watching corn is you're getting a flood of dopamine to your brain. So you're getting that reward chemical and also this feeling of oxytocin, which is funny. because oxytocin usually occurs when you're with somebody, not when you're watching corn. And so it's rewarding the wrong thing. It's rewarding looking at a screen. And you might say, well, Trip, what's wrong with doing that? Why can't I do that? Again, once in a while might be okay. But a lot of guys are coming to the point where they might be either addicted to it or they're doing it like once a day. And so what's going to end up happening, if you don't know, is you're going to get to a point where you're with a woman, hopefully. I say hopefully because, well, we'll get into that in a second. But hopefully you're with a woman and you're actually able to get turned on. So what can happen is, because you're so used to watching a screen and watching corn happen on the screen, that's how you have trained yourself to feel desired, or not feel desired, feel desire, feel that crazy drip of dopamine and oxytocin. So now that you're with a woman in person, you are either not going to get turned on at all, or what's going to happen is you're going to premature, you know what. I'm trying to stay away from saying things like corn and premature, you know what, because of YouTube's policy of demonetizing, and we're not gonna play with that. So you understand what I mean. So that's a problem. That's one problem. Another problem is you might not even get to the point where you have enough motivation to leave. Because once you sit in front of your computer or your phone and you're watching and fapping away to the corn and you finish, you know what you feel like after you finish. A little bit relaxed, but also kind of like, you just don't feel like doing anything really. You're like chilling, laying there, hanging out, right? And you don't feel specifically even motivated to maybe talk to women because you don't feel that drive inside of you. You've already released your drive into a bunch of Kleenexes. And so now you have no motivation to go out to meet women, or a lack thereof. And you also, if you do end up with a woman, like I said, you can have premature, you know what, or nothing happens. You don't get turned on. You don't get excited by her anymore. So, guys, really ask yourself how much you're looking at corn. What's up, Kendall? Yeah, Mugen said not being able to get it up because of corn is a top 3 fear. Good. You should be fearful of that. Because I'm telling you right now, that has a very strong chance of happening. Okay, Danny, you're going to bring me in my next point. You said everyone has hormones and gets turned on. That's why I feel it's unrealistic to no FAP. I agree. It is unrealistic. So here's a few options for you. You can FAP, but don't watch corn. I know that's not as fun. Obviously, it's significantly less fun. Or you can just cut back to doing it once a week. I know that's not easy, but at least there's some release there and you're not going to the extreme, because you know what happens? You know what happens when you go to extreme where you're cutting stuff off like that? You just end up getting back into it and sometimes get back into it harder. Now, I know that's not the case all the time. I'm not saying that's going to happen to every single person who goes cold turkey and cuts something that eventually they're just going to go back into it tenfold. But that's a risk. I'd rather not play with that risk and be stressed out all the time and frustrated. So my advice to you is to FAP and watch corn 1 to 2 times per week. I still think with that, you'll have motivation to go out. I still think with that, in my opinion, you'll be turned on enough when you're with women. And if you want to go even more extreme than that, then once a week. And if you want to go more extreme than that, maybe a couple times per week you fat, but you just don't watch corn. So at least you're not going to be looking, I mean, you know, when you look at corn on your screen, I mean, you got multiple tabs open. You're seeing so many images so fast. It gives you so much more stimulation in a way, in a sense, than if you're actually with a woman in person. I know that, of course, there's more stimulation when you're with a woman because you're with someone, but it doesn't even compare to all the images that you're seeing when you're watching it on your screen. It's because it will destroy your motivation. I quit for 2 weeks and 3 days now, and I have never felt better. Dude, good for you. Very good. Cool. So that's mistake number one, guys. Mistake number one, you're watching too much corn, prawn, whatever you want to call it. The fix, reduce it by 90%. And if you're already at a good rate, then great. But it will affect you. In the long term, it will affect you. Yeah, corn is very fake. It is. Some of you already know. You've been with women before. It's not the same thing. Corn is like to the extreme degree. It's insanely exaggerated and sensationalized for you. That's the whole point of it. Okay? All right, mistake number two. And guys, really listen to all these because all these are very powerful. They're very important. And I'm telling you right now, if you fix and work on all 5 mistakes that I'm going to be talking about today, your life will be, I kid you not, 50x better. Like if you literally fix all these mistakes within the next month, your life will be 50 times better. It's a guarantee. I guarantee it. Okay? So, number one, again, watching too much corn. Awesome, Gerald. Good job, man. Hell yeah. All right, number 2, not investing time into making friends in person. Okay? So, I know that it's so much easier to connect with people online. Trust me, man, I'm guilty of it too. I have multiple text groups with multiple friends on multiple different topics. We don't call anymore. I used to get calls on my birthday. Now it's a text. Just what happens. And it's really, it's interesting. You end up getting like a fake satisfaction. Almost like an artificial satisfaction from texting your friends, connecting on there, and keeping up with people on DMs and Facebook. You know, it's really easy to have that. Oh, that was good. I talked to some friends today. But you didn't. You texted. You didn't even hear their voice. And you might know everything that's going on with them because you guys text. And by the way, I'm not even trying to bash texting because texting's good. You can keep up with people. Texting is a great feature. But it's so easy to use online and texting and social media to get everything you need socially when it's artificial. Here's an example. You know, you can watch people's Instagram stories and you can see what they post. So, okay, I can know what my friend, John Deere is up to. Cool. Oh, he went to the movies this weekend and he had a couple of drinks with his friends or whatever. And oh man, why was I not there? Okay, interesting. You see everything that they're up to. So what happens? You get this kind of like comfortable, almost cozy feeling like, okay, like you caught up. Maybe you're not saying that you felt like you caught up with them, but you are caught up. You see their life. So what happens when you're caught up on someone's life digitally, virtually? You don't have to call them. You don't have to text them. See, remember, even pre-Facebook, because Facebook, we would see what's going on, although people weren't posting as rapidly as they are today. But 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago and beyond, you wanted to know what was going on with your friend John? You have no idea. Unless, what happens? You call him. Or you meet up with them. So the mistake I'm talking about right now, to catch you guys up who are just coming in, is you're not investing enough time into making friends in person. And you're not investing enough time to be with people in person. True story, I'm talking to my brother yesterday. My brother's 41. And me and him and a bunch of friends, funny that I'm talking about this, we have a text group because we have a vinyl club. We collect vinyl. And every other week we buy a vinyl, whatever we want, and we just share it with the group. We send a little picture. We go, okay, this is the one I got today, or I got this week. We talk about music. It's a nice social thing to do with my friends who don't live, all of them don't live where I live. So it's nice. I'll get to where this is going in a second. So we're talking, my brother and I, yesterday, and he goes, yeah, I went to a bunch of record stores this weekend. And it was great. I went in the record stores. Instead of going online and buying it online, I actually went in there and I held them. And I was talking to the guys who were working, and they told me, yeah, I can get like vinyls for you. Just let me know which kind, and then we can have them delivered to the store and you can buy them. And my brother's like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. And he goes, you know what? I really think we should start making Vinyl Club. And he says, if it's not Vinyl Club, it's just myself. I really want to start just going out to these record stores and buying. And I was like, well, I didn't really see what he was getting at. I was like, dude, they're cheaper online. I'm like, go online. He goes, yeah, they might be, but I need to get into the world more. That's what he said to me. I need to get into the world more. And I was like, whoa, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like, wow, that's the first time I heard you say that. I get it. And I know what he meant right away, because my brother is a psychologist and he works from home. And a lot of you probably work from home too. And he sees patients on a screen. So I've already been living this life. I've been doing TripAdvice, and TripAdvice has been virtual for 12 years now. And I remember that feeling. About a couple of years in, I would say to myself, man, I don't feel like I'm in the world. Like I'm not getting out there into the world. And I know I'm not the only person who's experiencing this. I know you guys are too. We're not going into the world enough. And a great excuse to go into the world, besides maybe going to a record store and buying vinyls, is, we're not going out there and spending time with our friends and with people that we know. And don't tell me I'm busy, because I get it, man. We're all busy. And you know what? That's fine. You're busy. You won't not be busy. You will be busy for probably the rest of your life until you're retired. So for the next 30, 40, 50 years, you're going to be busy. So if you're saying you're busy now, you're always going to be busy, which telling me you just don't have you're not making a priority to go out and eat. And again, I'm guilty of this. I'm trying to work more on this. We're all guilty. This is not just people who don't have friends. And I know there's some people saying that they don't have friends. But it's so easy to have that artificial connection that I was talking about. The artificial connection that we have online of seeing what people are up to, seeing what they're doing. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad. And you will get a lot of fulfillment if you once a week call up a friend. Once a week, meet a friend for a coffee. And you know what? It doesn't need to be a big thing. It can be like, hey man, we never hang out. We should hang out more. Let's make this a low commitment so we can actually just see each other. Let's do lunch and keep it an hour. That hour of no phone interaction with human, with a friend, will be one of the most valuable hours of your entire week. I guarantee it. We are humans. We are here on Earth to connect with other humans. And that has not changed. What's changed is rapid technology. That's changed, and it keeps changing. Do not fall behind, man. Got to get out there. You got to be talking to dudes, making friends. You got to be creating ways to be social. I have a friend here in Austin. He is this massive social connector. This guy is amazing. He is so proactive. He's so proactive in hanging out with me, connecting me to other people, connecting his friends to other friends, putting people together, creating events, happy hours. He makes it a priority. Is he tired after work? Are other people tired after work? Yeah, probably. But still, you're going to feel happier in the long run. You won't regret it. It feels good to reconnect with people instead of staring at a screen. Thanks, Kendall. 2020 has cut people's social battery in half, says Mugen. People just don't want to hang out as much. Dude, I know. I get it. Sometimes I'm that way too. And I'm like, well, is it because I'm getting older? And then I'm like, I don't think so. Seems like that's... You don't have to leave. It's so... if you told someone this 100 years ago, like, guess what? You can get everything delivered that you ever wanted to your home. You never have to leave. You never have to hunt. You say that to someone 1,000 years ago, there's a magical device where you just tap it and you see things that you want and you pay them money. They're going to be like, what? Money? How? Digitally? What does it even mean? Digital? What's that word mean? And you do this all from a screen. It's like, wow. It sounds amazing in theory. But in reality, it's stripping us of what makes us human. The connection with other people. So, mistake number 2, not investing enough time into making friends in person. The advice: start doing things that you like that are outside of the house. So gaming and socializing, gaming, that does not count. In-person social activities, anything that you like. Go to meetup.com, go to Facebook groups. The internet can bring us wonderful things. At least it can give us some options for meeting people in person. Hey, Bumble, guys, Bumble friends. You don't make, right here. If you're watching this, you have a phone. So if you have a phone, that means you can access Bumble. Bumble, you should be going on there to do online dating. There's also Bumble friends. You can meet guys on Bumble, not to date, but to be friends. I did that like 6 years ago. And because I was in a new city and I ended up moving from that city, so I stopped using it. But I met a really cool guy. We would have hung out more. We didn't because I left. But yeah, it was a great experience. No excuse not to be able to make friends. There's so many opportunities for you to do so. Okay, it's mistake number 2. Mistake number 3. And yeah, guys, chime in with your thoughts here. I'm reading everything today. Mistake number 3. Let's go more specific to dating. And this is also going to be a nice connector, or I should say segue to this one because we're talking about technology, is you're only using online dating apps. I do preach this a lot. It is a big mistake. I debated, should I talk about this today? I've said it before. Can't get away from one of the biggest mistakes that guys are making in 2023. Again, you're overutilizing your phone for things, corn, connecting with people, and maybe you're only trying to meet with... And even if you're killing it, right? If you're killing it online, meaning you're getting dates, like you're going to get 4 dates a week online, which I don't know how many guys are actually doing that. But if you're able to do that right now, Trip, I got so many dates. Online dating is great. What the hell are you talking about? You're telling me not to do that? Yeah, I'm still going to tell you not to not use it, but you have to be putting yourself out there in person. You're missing out on some of the best lessons for meeting women, for socializing. Man, some of the best lessons ever are when you're going out and talking to women in person, when you're approaching women, when you're getting over your fear of approaching women, when you're learning how to communicate with women in person, which, by the way, if you're doing great online, that means that you're going to be meeting women in person. So eventually you're going to be there. So eventually you're going to be with a woman in person, and you're going to get more practice being in person if you go out and start approaching women. I have a feeling society really in the past 5 years, just, especially with COVID, went right to like online dating. Like everyone's on it. I think in the next 5 years, there's going to be a movement, and I'll be right here for it because I'm preaching it now. There will be a movement where people are going to be like, online just isn't actually working. It's not going to be this like, I'm going to stop online dating because I just want to stop and blah, blah, blah. Like it's going to be, we don't have a choice. Men and women alike. Women are going to come to terms and men are going to come to terms that this is not the best way to meet people. By the way, I do believe in online dating, and I think it's a great way to meet people, and I've preached that before. I even have a course called Online Domination that teaches men how to be able to get more matches, and it works very well. But what I really, really want to hammer in, and the point I want to hammer in, is for you guys to meet women in person as well. It's going to be so much more fruitful and rich for you. You're going to get better, and you're going to meet women who you've never met before online and in person that are not online. What's a lesson you learned when you put yourself out there? Well, I learned about myself. I learned how to flirt better and how to communicate with women better and how to joke and tease. I learned how to learned more about women because I was around them and their reactions and how they react to things. You can't get that information. That's data you cannot get online or a FaceTime or a phone call. You can't get that same data. That data is gold. You want that data. It's going to teach you how to. Where should you go to meet women in public? Michael, anywhere. Anywhere. Here's the first place. Think shopping areas and tourist areas in your town. So wherever you live. I'll tell you what. Someone throw out a city like not a Chicago, New York, LA, Miami city. Like maybe one tier or multiple tiers lower, and I'll show you on a map where to go. So go ahead and do that for me. And I'll show you where to go to meet women geographically. And what we'll do is, of course, I'll go over like other places too. We'll do Denver and Baton Rouge. Denver's easy, man. Okay, but we'll do it because you asked the question. Okay, we'll do all three. Denver, Baton Rouge, and Gerald, you're my guy. I got you. We'll do Boise. We'll do this as fast as I can. All right, let me share my screen. Give me a second here. Okay. So, what did we do? Baton Rouge. Okay. So I don't know Baton Rouge. I don't know Boise, or I know Denver a little bit. Looks probably the what? Second biggest city, probably Louisiana. That's my guess. Yeah. All right, let's zoom in. Downtown. That's where right around here. There's women walking around. Oh, there's a bar right there. Women are probably walking around here. Any downtown area. Now listen, there's other places also. I know, for example, I was just in Dallas, and Dallas is not bad downtown, but I know there's like other areas that are populated that people walk around. But think about any downtown area, like I always look at these little yellow spots, like what's happening over here. Okay, I bet you this is a little walking area. There's some places over here. I don't know what this street is. I bet you if you go here, government walk down. What's over here? Is this the airport? No, I don't know what this area is. Mall of Louisiana. Go to this. I'm looking for under 2 minutes. I'll give you guys some other ideas. Boise, same idea. Where do you go? Where are the women? Right here, this yellow area. Hotels, people walking around. Where's the foot traffic? Again, I don't know Boise. So I'm guessing here based on not knowing, which I bet you Boise Town Square. What's this? Maybe this is an area. Cheesecake Factory, people walking around. Wow, a lot of stuff going on here. What's this street? Fairview Avenue. It's a little bit more like big stores, but fucking go there. Go to Hobby Lobby. My hairstylist told me, he goes, dude, sometimes I go into Hobby Lobby. It's like Hobby Lobby or like one of those craft stores, and there's just like chicks like every night at 6 p.m. just like walking around. Go there, talk to some women. Parks, people hanging out. What's this area? Military Reserve? Okay, probably not there. Camel Park, this is some hikes. You're not going to get a lot of foot traffic on hikes. Maybe a little bit, but not to approach. But boom, there's Boise. Denver's easy. I mean, game over. Okay. Getting some static from your mic. Oof. Is it good now, guys? Let me know. Okay. Makes sense? Now, other places, other things to do. Like, guys, any kind of events going on in your neighborhood, in your area, go to Eventbrite, go to Meetup, go to Facebook events, go to bars, go to clubs, attend these. Okay? Attend these things. That's mistake number 3. You're only using online dating apps. You're not going out. You're not meeting women in person. I want you to go out there, start meeting more women in person. There's no excuse. You should know where to do that by now. Okay? Okay. There's some questions coming in. I will get to those. Super chats are also welcome. That will guarantee an answer to your question. And let's get those likes up. Hit the like if this has helped you so far. All right. Number 4. Not utilizing the internet to make money. Okay. So, this is not for everybody. I understand that. I do think everyone should reduce. I do think everyone should be using in person to meet women and not just the dating apps. Utilizing the internet to make money is for a select few, but it is a mistake because the internet is. I've been talking about this a lot recently, especially on the podcast, the How to Talk to Girls podcast, which I know this is also on the podcast, but right now is one of the easiest times in terms of opportunity. You have, let me rephrase this. You have more opportunity now to make money than you ever had in the history of your absolute life. Not only your life, but the history of the world. Unless we had technology at one point, tens of thousands of years ago, and we re-evolved. But that's a whole other discussion. But I'm convinced that today is you have the most opportunity, and it will increase as time. In under a week, for very cheap, you can start an online store and sell anything, or you can start a social media page. I see pages of like every month, and guess what? They don't have a website. They have a social media account. You should be a coach. I'm just giving you an example of how fast you can start a business and sell stuff, and you don't even need a website. Even myself, I started TripAdvice 12 years ago. Social media was 12 years ago was Facebook, kind of Instagram, but not really. And there was podcasts. Podcasts were not as popular though. And so you had to have a good website. I had to spend and invest thousands of dollars into a website. Because if you spent $500 on a website in 2012, you got a piece of shit. Today, for like under $100, you could get a website that looks beautiful. That looks more beautiful than anything I had that I thousands of dollars in. Or you don't even have to have a website. So what I'm saying is it's the easiest time to be making money outside of your work. So if you're someone who feels they need more income, they want to make more money, go to ChatGPT, use AI, type in, have a conversation with it, have it give you ideas of how to make money online, tell it stuff that you're interested in, have a conversation with it. I mean, what's funny is even like 3 months ago, when ChatGPT wasn't even a big thing, even now it's easier because you can talk to a robot to give you ideas. And you can go back and forth and ask the next best steps and all that stuff. And, you know, I do hear, I always play devil's advocate with myself. And I try to understand, well, what's something I could say against what I'm saying? Like, well, Trip sounds good, but because everyone can do it, there's more competition. Yeah, there's competition. There's always going to be competition, no matter what happens. Still, competition should never stop you. Competition's good. That means there's a market for something. When you can actually have opportunity, like if you wanted to start a business 30, 40 years ago, what did you do? I don't know, brick and mortar. You'd have to like get a lease and get a place and get it designed and get the products and get an advertisements and buy a lot of advertisements in like the yellow pages and cross your fingers that it works with no computer to talk to see if it's a valid idea or concept. You know, it's crazy. So if you feel like you're low on money, if you feel that you could do better with your life if you had more money and the current career you're in is not getting you to that point, you should be utilizing the internet to make money. Even if it's small, by the way. This is not like become a millionaire. I mean, you can if you want to. You absolutely can if you want to go to that extreme route. But you can even do some side hustles and just make an extra. I mean, think about like an extra $300 a month. Okay, is that life-changing money? No. That's a car payment right there. That could help. That's enough money for dates. And we're talking a couple $100 a month. Very possible. Of course, nothing's easy. It does take work. I'm not saying that it's easy to make money online. Everything takes work. But it's really freaking cool that you have to do so. If you wanted to go and if you wanted to be entertained by content in 1995, hell, in 2000, all the way up until 2006 before YouTube was invented, if you wanted to be entertained by and rent a movie. You had to go to a theater and watch a film. That's how you got entertained. Now, because of the internet, everyone can make content and everyone can make a movie. So it's interesting because I used to work in Hollywood. So I used to work in the pictures, as they call it, when that was the main source of content. Now they have big competition because everyone, you can buy a camera and make a cinematic movie in 4K quality, and you don't need anyone's permission. The internet can be a beautiful thing. It can also be a bad thing, which is what I talked about 3 mistakes ago, right? So let's use the internet for the great things. And I think one of them, again, is opportunities for making more money. Okay. That is mistake number 4. I gave you some ideas on how to fix it. Who's ready for number 5? If you're ready, say, ready for 5, and we'll get to it. This is an important one. And while we're here, if I've ever given you a piece of advice that you said, wow, that's not so bad, or I've entertained you in any way, form, shape, or form, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here. Mugen's ready for 5. Sean's ready. Neon Churro's ready. Wild Gem's ready. Gerald's ready. Okay, number 5. So this weekend, I went to, remember, these are 5 mistakes. These, your life will change drastically in the next month and will 50x your life in terms of happiness and fulfillment. So number 5, the mistake the guys are making is not moving your body. This weekend, I went to hot yoga. I've been to yoga in my life, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, not time. Totally had this like epiphany. It wasn't this insane, deep spiritual experience as much as it sounds like it because I'm talking about yoga. It was more of just like an epiphany throughout. I was like, wow, this yoga thing is really interesting. I'm getting to understand it more and know it more. And, you know, if you've ever been to yoga, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're really like contorting your body and moving your body into all these positions that your body never normally goes in, especially for that long. And I remember coming home and I was talking to Megan and I go, that's the most I've ever moved my body since the last time I did hot yoga, which was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. That's sad. No, we walk. Maybe you walk, maybe you run, which is great. That's part of this tip. Maybe you work out. Getting at more just telling the story of how I came to this and why I'm talking about it. It made me understand how important it is for our bodies to move. And because of the way life is set up, where we can get everything from our phone and life can be so easy looking at our phone, getting everything from our phone. Hell, I'm right now, even now, technology has allowed me to sit back and totally just like relax in this chair, and I'm like barely moving my body. I don't even have to sit up straight. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with me doing this right now. There's nothing wrong with being comfortable. But we don't move our body enough. We have a lot that allows us to not have to move. And if you don't move your body and you don't get the blood flowing, it's very bad. It's very bad for your longevity. You can look this up. You can research this. I'm not going to go into all the science because, to be honest, I don't know too much about it. But I do know, and it is a fact, that you have to move your body. You cannot be so sedentary all the time. And so there's lots of options for you to do that. Danny labor, fantastic. You're moving your body. Not a lot of people do manual labor. Of course, there are a lot of people who do, but I know not many people do that. So you sit in your office chair and your desk all day. And what happens? Your body doesn't feel the same. So how do we fix this? Lots of ways. Lots of opportunities. Walking, going outside, walking, running, joining a gym, working out, doing yoga classes, doing cycling classes, right? Simple. For those of you who are living in cold weather, and I will be soon, eventually, when it gets really cold and the winter gets bleak, well, get a standing desk so you're standing. That's very good for you. Better than sitting. Get a treadmill. Buy a walking treadmill. Guys, this is why money is important, which goes back to my last thing of like, if you're not making enough money, figure out a side hustle. Because money, you can invest in your health. Chestiny, I love that. Someone here said, moving your body also clears your head from overthinking. Absolutely. Because what do we do when we're not moving our body? We're usually just thinking. What are we doing when we're moving our body? We're still thinking, but we're a little bit more present, aren't we? I know when I went to yoga, which I'm going to start going to more because it was a very hard yet in a weird way relaxing experience. When you go, you're so present. You have no choice but to be present. That's why it's cool. Like I always thought hot yoga was funny. It's like, oh wow, this is just another trendy way of making something extreme, because in America we love to do extreme shit. But now I kind of get it. Hot yoga makes you really hot, obviously. So you're just sitting there. I mean, there's a lot of different benefits to it, but one of the benefits is it keeps you so present, because all you're thinking about is, oh, these moves and how hard it is. But also it's kind of relaxing, but it's kind of challenging. It's kind of fun. And you're sweating and you're kind of sweating it out. I was nowhere else in that hour but right there. How many times can I really say that? The only time I can say that really is when I have deep focus work, which I do throughout the week, and I do have those moments. Deep focus work where I'm creating content, podcasts, videos, and maybe meetings and coaching. And then these, right? I'm super present right now. Like I'm not thinking about anything else than what's coming out of my mouth and talking to you. But there's a lot of time in between that where we're just not present. We're not in the moment. We're somewhere else. We're in the past. We're in the future. So yeah, I agree, man. I agree. So mistake number 5, not moving your body. How to fix it? All the options I just gave you, classes, gym, going outside and walking. And let me tell you this, even if it's cold out, I've walked outside in 0-degree weather. It's not the most fun, but you know what? You can actually bundle up to the point. Yeah, in 0-degree weather, you can put on a bunch of layers, can walk a couple laps around the block, and you'll actually get kind of warm because of all your layers and of how much activity you're doing. My point is there should never be an excuse. Life, guys, is a lot of work. You and I and everyone else here did not choose to be here. Our parents conceived one day, and voila, we're here. We are the product of our parents. That's it. So we're here, and we're also human. So like, we want to be here. We don't want to go anywhere else. We want to be happy. And life can be that way. It just takes a little bit of effort. I hope that this resonated with you today. I'm going to be answering some questions here. I hope that this was helpful. Stop watching so much corn. Start investing more time into being with friends in person. Start meeting women in person, not only using the dating apps. Start utilizing the internet to make money if you feel you need more income, and start moving your body. Could go for that water right now if I had some. Just real quick check, guys. How's the audio? Is this still crack-a-lacking? What causes fear of rejection? We've been through this, Danny. You know the answer to this. Do you think I should be worried if a girl tells me after a few dates that she is depressed? Yeah, I would think that's a red flag. We are not handled. I don't care how beautiful she is. And guys, you can see here on the screen, tripadvicecoaching.com. I have coaches on staff that are versed in everything that I'm talking about here, and how to live a better life, and how to stop making these mistakes, and how to meet more women online and in person, on how to be the best version of yourself that you can be to attract more women, but more importantly, pointing at you, my friend, more importantly, to live a life for last week. Byproduct is what? Women. But the number one product is you in your life. So we have coaches that can help you. tripadvicecoaching.com. You can apply to work with us. We're on fire. The coaches send me screenshots of text messages from clients every week about how many matches they're getting, about how many girls they're dating, girls they're hooking up with, guys that are getting into relationships. It's incredible. So, you can, Dr. Tara. Dr. Tara, why is it not ringing a bell? But welcome here, man. So yeah, if you need help, tripadvicecoaching.com. Go there, apply, and we can chat about working with you. We are in the business of changing lives, and that's what we do. And I say that with full confidence because we've been doing it for a long time. So the biggest mistake. Mistake number 6. There's a 6th mistake. You ready for the 6th mistake? Here it is. Coaching with TripAdvisor. That should be number 1. Get your act together. Let's help you, man. Yes, correct, Sam. Happiness should not be dependent on anyone but yourself, which kind of it's interesting you bring that up, right? Because we're talking about happiness. We're talking about fulfillment and all those things. That, you went on a date with a girl who was kind of depressed. And yeah, it's sad. I'm sure, we've all been there once in our life. We've felt depressed. Some of us have clinical depression, and it's a lot harder to get out of. Sometimes depression can't be fixed by going to the gym or making money. You do need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist to get medicine. That can be very helpful. But I do know that if you take the right steps in your life to better it, and you don't do it in a way that's overwhelming, you will start to see a different life that you're very happy and very proud of. This is all we have, gentlemen. This is it. Am I spiritual? Spiritual is a very large term. It's so big, it's almost vague. So it's hard for me to answer that question. You can be more specific if you'd like. I'm not religious. I'll say that much. But yeah, it's good stuff. Thanks, guys, for being here. Advice, remember, is only as good as when it's implemented. And I always here that you're listening here on the YouTube channel on my Trip Advice Live, that you need to be going out and making things happen. Bringing up dates, bringing up future plans, bad idea. 7 dates in, we're clicking. She actually just brought up something going on in July. No, Sean, that's fine. You're 7 dates in, dude. I mean, you're 7 dates in. 7 dates. Yeah, I'd say about 20 more dates and you got yourself a girlfriend. So that's totally fine. But Sean, you should be dating other people too. 7 dates is not, she's not your girlfriend yet. So you should be dating other women. Or else you're going to get needy. How do you make friends at school? I'm on campus and I'm struggling. What do you like to do, man? Think about what you like to do. What do you enjoy? Whatever you enjoy, the way to connect with people is on interests. Even today, my closest friends are people that I connect with on specific interests. Music, film, personal development, business. So it should be easier on campus because, yeah, like Neon Shro just said, there's clubs. There's clubs for stuff. You can talk to people after class. Ask them a question about class. Ask them, cold approach a dude. Hey man, this is really random. I'm like looking for clubs. Do you have any idea if there's any cool clubs or you know, places to meet people? I mean, only like a do that 10 think about this. Do that 10 times. On Saturday, 10 times, cold approach 10 dudes. You're not going to ask them to be your friend. Although you never know. It could happen. And say, hey man, you know, I know this is so random, but look, do you know of any cool clubs or places to go where people are hanging out? And you know, whatever, you approach 10 guys and 5 of them are just kind of like, I don't know, and they give you some shitty advice and whatever. And then the other 5 say some things that I never thought about that because it's like specific to your campus. Think about what that could do. Double that. Imagine you do that to 20 different dudes. Hell, do it to women too. Practice your cold approaching with women. Say, hey, I'm out here trying to make guy friends. Just ask them, like, where do the dudes hang out? See what happens. Who knows? I don't know. It's really cool. I'm just getting creative here. Just like test things out. Try different things. See what happens. Talk to people. Yeah, Sam, you're right too. It's you got to put yourself out there. It's tough. It is. Guys, it's all tough. It's all tough. It's all tough. Take that out of your vocabulary. I used to say that a lot too. Many years ago. I used to say it. It's hard. It's tough. A mentor of mine once told me something really cool. And I'm going to leave you guys with this today, okay? Everything's hard. Bottom line, default, most stuff is hard. Instead of saying, this is hard, ask a question that you need answered to solve it. And if you don't have any questions, then just do the damn thing. Right? So I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, well, let's take this example. Man, meeting friends is really hard. Okay, let's change that around. What's the question there? The question might be, well, how do I meet friends? Well, you can do it on your campus. Meeting people on campus is hard. So what's the question? How can I make it easy for myself on campus? So whatever you're thinking on a daily basis, whatever goal you're trying to achieve, If it's hard, ask yourself the question. Thinking, what's the question here? What's the question I have here? And again, if you come to a point where you're like, there's no more questions left, well, then what does that mean? Execution. But then you might come to, well, how do I execute this? Man, going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week is hard. How do I 4 to 5 times a week? How do I stay motivated? And you might have specific questions because you might say, well, when I go there, I don't really have a plan. How can I come up with a plan? Instead of this is hard, ask a question. Is it bad to try and date in college? I think college should be for socializing. Be social in college. Don't let that get in the way of your college, though, of why you're there. Because if you spend too much time picking up chicks, too much time socializing, and there's no balance, and you're not meeting women, you're not doing your work, and then you graduate with a GPA that's really poor, or out of college, I don't know. You don't learn the things necessary. Depending on what your major, it all depends on what you're going into, you know. Definitely if you're trying to get like a master's degree, you're going to need, you know, to pass that big test that you're trying to pass to get into graduate school, and you're going to need a good GPA. Now, for some people, you know, might not need the best GPA, but I don't know why you're there, right? You're there to get a degree. Work hard there so then life can be easier later. Yeah, you're right. GPA and all that. It depends. Yeah, like for me, my GPA didn't really matter. But then again, it kind of did. I had it on my resume. I was getting into the entertainment industry, and I was, you know, and that's tough. I don't know. I could have lied. They weren't going to double check my GPA. But still, there's a lot of great resources in college if you want to. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, that's fine. You shouldn't be in college then. You should be doing something else. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know if this is not my forte, but you kind of get what I'm saying here. It's like that. If all that doesn't matter, I don't know why you're there. Was college worth it for me? Yeah, it was worth it for me. You know, I did meet some good friends there. I did figure out what, at least at that point in time, what I wanted to do with my life. Hell, guess what my favorite class was? Would you guys guess? You won't guess because you don't know what it was. But my favorite class was a media class that I took in 2000 and was I a senior? Yeah, 2006. 2006, 2007. Came out in that class. Yep, I learned about YouTube in college when it first came out. I mean, we knew what it was, but we actually talked about it in a class. Who knew that in 2006, 5 years later, I was going to start a YouTube channel? Not that I really learned how to start a YouTube channel in that class, but it was my favorite class. It was media, it was film, it was all this kind of stuff that I like. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. This was a great live. You guys have been excellent participants. I really enjoyed your energy. I really enjoyed your comments and a few of your questions. Those of you who are new here, thanks for coming and being here. Join us next week where I'll be live again. I go live on Tuesdays at about 5 p.m. And hit that like button if this has helped you. I hope it has, and I hope that this encourages you to make some of the changes and some of the fixes that we talked about here today. Does that sound good? Meet me here next week. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you next week with a new topic. Have a great night. Thanks, Neon. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, tripadvicecoaching.com. If you need help, you want to work with a coach one-on-one, drastically change your results with dating and meeting women, we can help you. We're here for you. Guys who are watching now, like Gerald, have done coaching before, so they can tell you how beneficial it's been. Join us over at Trips Corner. How can I forget? Trips Corner, my favorite place to be on the internet. It's my private Facebook group. 2,000 guys are in there. And we're all in there, helping each other out, talking to each other about our issues with dating, giving you answers. So, love to see you there. I'll see you next week.